Hey everyone, it is Saturday, November 13th. The time is 5:35 p.m. and the temperature is around 8 degrees Celsius. That's the 504 King streetcar. And that's the intersection of King and Bay. That would be the heart of the city's financial district. And for this one, I'm going to head east for a block over to Yonge Street. And then I'll walk north up Yonge, I think up to Yonge and Bloor. There's a look up at Scotia Plaza. And a look up at Commerce Court North. Formerly the tallest building in the British Commonwealth. I just finished recording a live stream. I was so hungry I ended up popping into the Starbucks just up ahead here and having a chocolate croissant. It's been a while since I've done a Yonge Street video at this time on a Saturday, so I thought I was due. This LCBO is new. So here's Yonge and King. And a look south down Yonge Street towards Lake Ontario. And now it's north on Yonge. So right at that intersection, you'll find King Station. And this one will be taking me past Queen Station, as well as Dundas, College, and Wellesley. I'll be finishing right at Bloor Yonge Station. And there's a look over at Craft. I haven't been there in quite a while, but I quite like that place. They've got a very large patio out back, and the bar itself is quite huge. And this is Adelaide Street. And a look west into the financial district. And yes, it's only 5:40 p.m. and look how dark it is. It's kind of crazy how in the summer It can still be light out as late as 9 p.m. So Yonge Street should get busier the further I head north. And here's Richmond Street and the backside of Saks Fifth Avenue and Hudson's Bay. Some pretty long traffic signals. Next up is Queen Street. That's where you'll find Queen Station. And on the left side of Yonge will be the Eaton Center, and that will run north all the way up to Dundas. I'll cross over to the east side here. And there's the look east on Queen Street East. Yonge Street's the main east-west divide in the city, so most of the streets to the east, which would be the right-hand side, have east in their name, such as Queen Street East, Dundas Street East, Bloor Street East, and to the left, which is the west, they'll be named west accordingly. Although, unlike New York, we have the direction at the end of the street name, Queen Street West, whereas in New York it would be West Queen Street, or West Queen, I'm not sure how exactly they would word it, but they put the direction at the start. The Elgin and Winter Garden. It's a pair of stacked theaters. And there's the Massey Tower. See if I can get a view up at the tower from here. And off in the distance you can hear the clock tower at Old City Hall chiming, signifying that it is 5:45 p.m. And this is Shooter Street. The forecast did say it would rain at around 6 p.m. Hopefully I can avoid that. It was spitting lightly earlier. It started to come down during the live stream.
I'm just sick and tired of people walking in front of you when they know they can walk the fucking around.
Okay. I don't know if my camera picked up or the microphones picked up that guy's rant. There's a look into the Eaton Center. And I'm approaching Dundas Square. There's a GameStop, formerly EB Games. It's not uncommon to see a police presence around here. And here's Dundas Square. On a Saturday night, or I guess it's 5:48. You could still say evening. In the summertime, you might even say late afternoon, as it would be quite light out. There's never a shortage of street buskers and preachers and that sort of thing. There was a protest earlier when I first got here. And here's one of two scramble crossings like this in the city. The other being to the north of here at Yonge and Bloor. That's where I'm heading. You know, let's check out this street corner over here.
Is this your joke?
It's fairly crowded tonight. That used to be a Forever 21. And we have another scramble crossing. It's not quite Shibuya.
Like they are, they're telling you to stop.
It's a pretty badass charger. And at Yonge-Dundas was Dundas Station. Good driving, people. Some more expert driving. This outdoor food market's always quite lively. It's a pretty interesting character over there. And I'm just taking a quick little detour to show the steak restaurant that I went to on my birthday. There it is, Barbarians. And there's some very lucky people heading inside right now. And in August, I went to Gallagher's in New York City, a very highly regarded steak restaurant there. And they're both kind of similar. They both have that old school steakhouse ambience to them. Although I would have to favor Barbarians if I had to choose one. Still, both were quite amazing. There's a Yonge Street institution at Zanzibar. Back in the 70s and 80s. This area had a bit of a seedy reputation to it. It was pretty similar to Broadway around Times Square in New York. It was a borderline red light district. And just like Broadway in New York, Yonge Street has kind of cleaned itself up and started to evolve quite a bit. Not always for the better. We lost an institution that was on this block, the Big Slice. And that development is under control by Concord Addicts now, I believe. The previous developer went belly up. And here is Gerrard Street. I think it's a little more interesting on the east side. There's look south down Yonge. And the area just off to the east of here is the Ryerson University campus. For how long it will be named Ryerson is anyone's guess. It's only a matter of time before that name changes. And there's a look up at Aura. You know what? I kind of want to see if there's any lights going on in College Park. I'm going to change course again and go back to the west side of Yonge. And just on the left, where there used to be a Bed Bath & Beyond, will be a new urban format IKEA store. That's almost guaranteed to be a huge hit. And no lighting decorations in College Park yet. There's a public skating trail that'll be opening pretty soon. And I was at the Distillery District earlier on a stream, and they're starting to get into the swing of things Christmas-wise. They've got their big tree up. And I think this stretch here is why I would have preferred to be on the other side. It's quite tight, but College Street is coming up. And here's Yonge and College. Well, Carlton over there on the east side. And you'll find College Station at this intersection. There's a look west. There's Franz. Sidewalk closed. Pedestrians use other sidewalk. That doesn't seem to be the case. Sidewalk narrow and awkward, but not closed is more like it. And it's 6 p.m. I was originally supposed to meet someone at 6 p.m. at Bloor Yonge Station. But just before I started recording, I fired off a message saying I think 6:10 will be better. There's a captain's boil. And more scaffolding. I typically prefer to walk on the outside of these. Just makes it easier and less awkward when people walk by in the other direction. And holy cow, it is windy. Although you probably can't hear that because the mic I use does an extremely good job of cutting out all the wind. I record my bike rides and get moving pretty fast. Even if I'm going downhill at a pretty fast pace, around 40 kilometers right into the wind, you don't normally hear it. And unfortunately, once again, north of St. Clair, line 1 of the subway is closed down. I had to take a shuttle bus down here. There's the fry. We have some excellent Korean fried chicken in there. Boku, Japanese eats and drinks. And coming up is Wellesley Street. And here's where you'll find Wellesley Station. I've had some interesting moments in that McDonald's. And just to the east of here at Church in Wellesley, you'll find yourself in the village. That person should really have lights on their bike. Taiwanese innovative cuisine. That place is packed. And here is St. Joseph Street. Trying to figure out where that flashing light was coming from, but it's a light above Oliver Jewelry there. Yes, that was me who tripped over that giant styrofoam block there. That place serves up butter chicken. I had that for dinner the other night. Although I forget the name of the place where I went. Classic Johnny. As Yonge Street has changed over the years, one thing that's certainly noticeable is there's a lot more Asian restaurants now than in years past.
We can get it. Like, I think
And this is the old Church of Scientology headquarters on the left. It looks like the next block is all dark. It might be better to be on the other side of the street here. Excellent driving.
It's like 3 days.
yeah.
Really good. Let's just block pedestrians. There's a look up at the moon. I think it's going to be safe to cross here in a sec. Yeah, it looks like this whole block is gonzo. Oh, that Kobe Korean restaurant's closed. So I'm assuming there's a new development going in there. The condofication of Yonge Street is in full effect. And we're at Charles. And I walked by Zanzibar earlier. Here's another throwback to Yonge Street's seedier days. That's the brass rail. And it's the perpetually lined up Chick-fil-A. I have still yet to go there. And on the other side of the street, what may or may not be the tallest building in Canada has started to rise. That's 1 Bloor West. And at the very south end of downtown at 1 Yonge Street is the building that is competing with. And the reason I say we don't know which one will be taller is they have applied for height increases, which are not official. So I think as it stands right now, this one would be the second tallest. But if they get approval for their height increase, it'll become slightly taller than the one. And as a skyscraper fan, I'm looking forward to that going up. It's also quite nice that it's not one of your standard Toronto issue generic glass boxes. And there's rumored to be an Apple store going in as the anchor tenant. And here we are at the second scramble crossing in the city. And there's a look up at 1 Bloor East. It's a monster in its own right. And just off to the west of here is the Yorkville neighborhood. And I often end these walks by finding my way onto transit. I'm right where I need to be, right when I need to be here. So I'd be here at 6:10. It's actually 6:12. I have a message saying that my friend is right around the corner. So on that note, I'd like to thank you for watching this walk that started in the financial district and headed over to King and Yonge, and then I walked north up the most interesting part of Yonge Street to here at Yonge.